Okay, hello, Algebra 1. We're on to lesson 30. Part A is algebraic phrases. And here's where we're getting ready to do some word problems. To answer verbal questions, so word problems, we translate from the English into math. So we can write phrases, which is what this part's about, as algebraic expressions. So we're going to do that. And there are some key words, which is why a while back we were reviewing words like sum and product, because they're going to show up in these. So it's still very useful to know those. Make sure you're brushed up on them. The first example we have here, the sum of a number and 7. Sum is the answer when you add. So that means we're adding some number and 7. So when you see the word number, the thing we're looking for, that's where we're going to put a letter, because that's our variable, because it represents the number we're looking for. So I'm just going to use n for number. And the sum of a number and 7 would be n plus 7. 7 less than a number. So we're starting out with some number and then 7 less than that. So we're subtracting. This is not the same as 7 minus n. No, not 7 minus n. It's 7 less than whatever n was. Now the opposite of a number would be negative n, because you know negative means opposite. The opposite of a number decreased by 5. So we're decreasing that by 5. Sum, so we're adding something again. What are we adding this time? The opposite of a number, that's that, and negative 5. So we're adding the opposite of n to negative 5. That would be the same as negative n minus 5. Either one of them. Product. Okay, that's the answer you get when you're multiplying. So the product of twice a number, so there's twice a number. Remember, twice means double times 2, not squared. The product of that and 8. Okay, so we're multiplying twice a number times 8. And we're just translating right now. You don't even have to finish that. That would be 16n. The sum, so we're adding something again. What are we adding after the of? Between of and is the first one. Twice a number. Well, sum, so we're adding, and negative 5. And again, we could make that 2n minus 5. 5 times a sum. Okay, so it's 5 times, we're going to be adding two things. The sum of, there's twice a number again, and negative 5. I'm going to put minus 5 this time. Okay, so my sum of twice a number and negative 5 is being multiplied by 5. Okay, moving on. 6 times a sum again. Okay, so 6 times a sum. Sum of twice the opposite of a number. Ooh, I should have made that a bracket. I'm going to need a parenthesis in there. Okay, 6 times the sum of twice the opposite of a number. There's 2 times the opposite of my number, and negative 8. Okay, 6 times this sum, 2 times the opposite of a number, and negative 8. Product, we're multiplying something. Product of 7 and a sum. So I have to be taking 7 times a sum, so I need parentheses. My sum will go in here. A number and 10. Okay, so that's 7 times the sum of a number and 10. The sum, so we're adding something, of 3 times a number. Okay, 3 times a number and negative 4. That sum is multiplied by 5. You can put 5 on either side. I like to put it in the front, but it can be on either side of the parentheses. Okay, now the sum of negative 10, you have to read the whole thing. This is not the sum of negative 10 and 6. This is the sum of negative 10 and 6 times the opposite of a number. So, here's my negative 10. It's being added to 6 times the opposite of a number. Now, I do want to mention before we move on, when you have something like some number times the opposite of a number, when you multiply them, you're just getting negative 6n. So it's often easier to work with these if you do that first. and just keep the negative in the front. Either one of those is perfectly fine for that. But that's that. There'll be more on them later. We'll get to practice translating, and then we'll make more use of them later. And then on to part B. Decimal parts of a number, just like it says here, we solve these problems like the fractional parts of a number we did a couple lessons back. All right, so in the other one you had the word fraction in there. Now it's a decimal. They're basically the same thing. They're both like part of a number. So this is pretty straightforward. We have 3 examples, and then that'll be that. So we're going to translate these into math, into an equation, and then solve it. So we have 0.32, 32 hundredths, of what number, so times what number, is the equals, and then 24 and 32 hundredths. All right, we have multiplication right here. So to solve this, we divide. We do the opposite operation. So we're dividing both sides by 32 hundredths. All right, so looks like a little long division is in order. We have 0.32 into 24.32. Move them. And the decimal is there in case we need it. Okay, so 32. If I did an 8, that'd be a little too big. So let's try 7. Okay, so 14, 22. 13 minus 4 is 9. 3 minus 2 is 1. Bring down the 2. Okay, and then we do this again. It's definitely going to be less than 7. I think 6 looks like a good choice. So we have 12, 19. Wow, no remainder. That was nice. The number is 76. Now, you know, the other way we could have done this was move this decimal 2 places and this decimal 2 places and then try reducing it. And then you should check it. I've already shown you how to check. I'm not going to take the time right now. Just because it's for the notes. You know how to check, you should do that. Okay, what decimal part of? So this is my n, and this is telling me my answer is probably going to be a decimal. Okay, it probably won't come out even this time. So, of 42, means I'm multiplying by 42, I like to put the number first, is 26.04. So then we have to, again, divide, because that was multiplication. We do the opposite, so we divide. And what we do to the left side, we must do to the right side. And, okay, here we go again. 42 into 26.04. Put up the decimal. All right, that's definitely a 0. And, all right, so we want something like 6. All right, so there's 12, 25. That'll be 8. Bring down the 4. Oh, that's nice. That's as far as we need to go. So, the number is 62 hundredths. All right, one more. Okay, these are just to have the variable is at a different place each time. So now, 0.42 of 86, so times 86 is what number? The variable is already by itself, so we just have to do this. So, 86 times 0.42, 17, that's 24, 32, so 34, 2, 4, 6, 3, 2 decimal places in my problem, so 2 decimal places in my answer. And I know this is a little less than half. Half of 86 is 43, right? So I know it's going to be less than 43, so that makes sense. That helps me know I put the decimal in the right place. All right, so you can also go back and check just to make sure your answer looks reasonable whenever you're doing these. But that is our last example. Have fun with these. I'll see you later.